Once upon a time, raising kids meant teaching them to hunt and survive with saber-toothed tigers lurking nearby. Today, it's about balancing screen time and extracurriculars. How did we get from there to here? Parenting advice has changed dramatically over time. What was considered good parenting in the past might surprise you, so let's take a journey through history to see how parenting has evolved and discover why these changes matter for you and your little one today. Imagine this: you're a parent in prehistoric times, surrounded by constant danger. Forget diapers or cribs. Your world is raw survival. How did our ancestors manage to keep their kids safe in such harsh conditions? Our time-traveling guide arrives at a small prehistoric camp where smoke from cooking fires mingles with the sound of children's laughter, echoing through the trees. Suddenly, a saber-toothed tiger growls at the edge of the camp. In an instant, the tribe springs into action. Parents grab their youngest, older kids, scramble up trees, and adults form a protective circle with spears and torches. It's like a well-rehearsed dance of survival. When the danger passes, something remarkable happens. Parents turn this brush with death into a teaching moment. They show kids how to recognize animal tracks, identify safe plants, and move silently through the forest. Hands-on education wasn't a choice. It was a necessity. Even better, child rearing was a team effort. Aunts, uncles, grandparents, and older siblings all pitched in, sharing their knowledge and experiences. It was a way to ensure survival, fostering an unbreakable bond between families and their communities. So, what can we take from these ancient parents? Their creativity and community spirit remind us that parenting has always been about love, protection, and teaching life skills. Could adopting some of their unity bring new strength to our modern families? Our anthropologist's time machine whirs to life, landing her in the bustling heart of ancient Egypt. Parenting here is a reflection of status. Wealthy families educate their children in hieroglyphics and music, while the poor teach their kids by example, working side by side in fields or workshops. Jumping to Greece, she finds contrasting approaches. Spartan boys endure military training from age 7, toughened to serve the state, while Athenian children explore art, music, and philosophy. Girls, they're taught domestic skills at home. Which method truly created better citizens? In Rome, the concept of the paterfamilias takes center stage. Fathers held absolute power, deciding not just how their children were raised, but whether newborns lived or died. Imagine growing up under such control. How would it shape your view of family and authority? Across these civilizations, certain trends emerge. Infants were swaddled tightly for safety and growth, a technique many modern parents might find surprisingly familiar. Obedience and respect for authority were universal values, molding children to fit cultural ideals. Yet, these ancient methods gave rise to some of history's most influential thinkers and leaders. What can we learn from their successes? And how do we balance discipline and nurturing in our own parenting? As our anthropologist sets her time machine to the next era, she wonders, how will parenting evolve next? Little does she know, the future holds surprises beyond imagination. The time machine lands in the heart of the Middle Ages, and our anthropologist is stunned by what she sees. Children working alongside adults everywhere. Boys hammer away in forges, while girls haul water and care for animals. Childhood as we know it today simply doesn't exist. But time marches on, and she notices a shift. Wealthy families begin prioritizing education over labor. A 12-year-old girl starts training under a master weaver, honing her skills. It's the beginning of childhood as a unique stage of life. Parenting during this time is heavily shaped by religion. The church emphasizes obedience and discipline, leading to authoritarian styles with harsh punishments meant to safeguard children's souls. As the Renaissance dawns, a new idea takes root. Children are seen as individuals in need of guidance and nurturing, not just training. Education becomes a growing priority, especially among the elite. Yet, this shift is only the beginning. Many children still endure tough conditions. The seeds of modern parenting are planted here, reminding us that progress often starts small. How much of today's parenting philosophy, balancing work, education, and wonder, can trace its roots to these pivotal changes? The story doesn't end there. The next stop, a bustling industrial city during the 19th century. The air is thick with soot, machines clang in the distance, and children as young as 6 march off to work with their parents. Inside cramped tenements, our anthropologist wonders, how can families survive like this? The Industrial Revolution shatters traditional family structures. Parents spend long hours in factories, leaving little time for their children. The youngest are often left to fend for themselves. Emotional bonds are stretched thin, and the idea of family time seems like a luxury. But amidst the struggle, change begins. Reformers fight for child labor laws and compulsory education. Our observer sees the first sparks of a movement that values children's rights and well-being. Even in these harsh conditions, families find ways to connect, whether through brief shared meals or the support of tight-knit communities. Communities step in, neighbors looking out for one another's kids. These glimpses of love and resilience shine through the soot-covered challenges of industrial life. The anthropologist reflects on how these challenges reshaped what it means to be a family. One thing is clear: the Industrial Revolution wasn't just a period of hardship. It was the beginning of a shift toward valuing children, not just as workers, but as individuals with potential. So, how will these seeds of change grow? What new parenting philosophies will emerge as the world continues to evolve? The answers await. The time machine hums softly as it settles in the early 1900s. Stepping out, the anthropologist is greeted by a world of stark parenting contrasts. In one household, she observes strict, authoritative discipline, parents enforcing rigid schedules and demanding absolute obedience. But just a few streets away, whispers of a different philosophy emerge, where nurturing care is encouraged, though it remains a fringe idea. She notices the tension building as families grapple with a flood of new advice. Should babies be left to cry it out or comforted immediately? Is strict discipline the only way to shape a child's character, or does it suppress emotional growth? These debates only deepen as television enters homes, offering glimpses of differing parenting styles played out on screen. Global events like wars and economic challenges reshape family dynamics, forcing parents to prioritize survival. Yet even in these difficult times, seeds of change begin to sprout. A few progressive voices suggest that emotional connection, not just discipline, could be the foundation of effective parenting. And so, the story evolves. As the time traveler adjusts her dials, she sets her sights on the mid-20th century, where the seeds of change have blossomed into a full-fledged parenting revolution. Gone are the days when strict rules and rigid schedules defined family life. Now, a quieter movement emerges, one that prioritizes emotional bonds over control. The anthropologist observes parents embracing attachment parenting, a philosophy pioneered by psychologists like John Bowlby. In one home, a mother gently rocks her baby to sleep, practicing co-sleeping as part of building a secure bond. Fathers, too, play a more active role, wearing their infants in snug carriers as they go about their day. These once unconventional practices are now reshaping parenting. Emotional connection is becoming just as important as discipline. Parents aren't just authority figures anymore. They're partners in their children's growth. But with progress comes new challenges. As the world continues to change, so do parenting styles. The late 20th century introduces a new approach where everything we thought we knew about parenting gets redefined. The time machine fast forwards to the late 20th century, landing in a bustling suburban schoolyard. The anthropologist is stunned by a dramatic shift in parenting. Unlike anything she's seen before, parents are no longer just observers, they're active participants in every detail of their children's lives. Scraped knees are met with instant care, homework is closely monitored, and every game has sideline coaching. This is the era of helicopter parenting. Born out of growing safety concerns and the drive to give kids every possible advantage, this parenting style is deeply involved, sometimes too much so. The anthropologist watches closely as parents work tirelessly to protect their children from failure. But in doing so, Are they also holding them back from growth? Teachers and psychologists start raising red flags, noticing that these kids often struggle with resilience and problem solving. The anthropologist is struck by the paradox. Parents act out of love, yet their actions may inadvertently make it harder for their children to face life's inevitable challenges. It's a sobering reminder that even good intentions can have unintended consequences. You'd be surprised how many parents, even today, are caught in this delicate balance between protection and overprotection. But as the century draws to a close, the tide shifts again. In the late 1990s, the anthropologist noticed another cultural shift. At a farmer's market, she watches a young child confidently pick out fruits and pay at the counter. In a nearby park, children play unsupervised, inventing rules for their games without adult intervention. The pendulum is swinging again, this time toward fostering autonomy. This era marks a celebration of independence and critical thinking. Parents encourage decision-making and natural consequences, helping their children build the skills they'll need in an increasingly complex world. The anthropologist notices how this shift reflects broader societal values like individualism and adaptability. She's amazed by the trust parents place in their children to learn from mistakes and take ownership of their choices. It's a striking contrast to the micromanagement of the helicopter parenting era. Yet, it feels like a natural evolution, a response to the challenges and opportunities of the time. So, as you see, parenting evolves as society changes. But the question is, will the next shift bring balance or more uncertainty? Welcome to the digital age, where the glow of screens dominates every room, pulling our attention in every direction. Parents juggle work emails, social media, and endless notifications, while kids navigate tablets as naturally as toys. How do we stay connected to our children in a world so full of distractions? Our anthropologist sees modern parents stretched thin. Packed schedules, soccer practice, coding classes, music lessons leave little room to breathe. Social media adds pressure, with parents sharing milestones online, turning even simple moments into performance art, and sparks a silent competition among parents. Amid this chaos, some families prioritize what truly matters. They set boundaries with technology, carving out time for face-to-face connection. By focusing on quality over quantity, they prioritize what matters most. They carve out space for love and attention to flourish, even in a noisy digital world. This leads us to the question of how can we raise happy, healthy kids without losing ourselves in the process? The answers lie in finding a delicate balance. To balance the old and the new, merging timeless parenting wisdom with the demands of modern life. This brings us to an even bigger question. What does parenting look like as we step into the future? Step into a future where parenting transcends tradition, guided by AI, genetic foresight, technologies and innovations we can barely comprehend today. Imagine this. A doctor predicts your baby's health risks before they're even born, or an AI assistant helps you plan meals and monitor school progress. Sounds incredible, right? But with great tools come great questions. How much should we rely on technology versus trusting our instincts? Our anthropologist sees new challenges emerge. Climate change reshapes family life, with vertical gardens and renewable energy becoming household staples. Meanwhile, virtual classrooms teach children global perspectives without leaving their homes. Yet many parents look backward for wisdom, blending tech-driven solutions with age-old practices like mindfulness and community support. This delicate balance of tradition and innovation defines modern parenting. We're expected to be tech-savvy, emotionally intelligent, and environmentally conscious. A lot to handle. But through it all, one thing hasn't changed. Parenting is built on love and care. How do we prepare our kids for a world that's evolving faster than ever? By combining lessons from the past with the tools of tomorrow, we can raise resilient, adaptable children ready to thrive in any future. As the time machine brings our anthropologist back to the present, one thing becomes clear. There's no single, perfect way to parent. Good parenting adapts to your child's needs and the ever-changing world around them. So, what's the key takeaway for you? Be flexible. Learn from history, embrace innovation, and trust yourself. You're raising a child for today and tomorrow. Remember, the most powerful parenting tool isn't an app or a guidebook. It's the love you share with your child. That connection has helped humanity thrive through every era, and it will guide us into the future. We've traveled through centuries of parenting wisdom. Now, it's your turn. What's your plan for raising a child who's resilient, adaptable, and ready for whatever the future holds?